Well, that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Full time 1-1 is the verdict. And I'm going to try to summarize this as best as I can because there wasn't much in that game. There were, well, in the first half at least. The second half picked up quite a bit. But in terms of clear-cut chances, they were kind of few and far between. The only ones I can think of were Newport counting the first half with a long throw that was headed away, and then the long thrower headed it back towards the back post over Zanev's head. He tried to get a hand on it, but couldn't get anything on it, and ball bounced around. Thankfully, it didn't amount to anything. Chislett with the free kick effort, fantastic. It kind of reminds me of, actually, it reminded Obama, one of my chatters, of Hardigan's free kick against Morecambe last season in that 4-3 thriller. Pretty similar position and pretty similar finish, top corner. But yeah, after that, it all went wrong, right? First of all, it started with Kyle Hudlin. I couldn't see what happened on the eye follow. All I saw was Kyle Hudlin getting in someone's face a little bit after being pulled a little bit. I don't think there was too much on that. It's just the other player had his hands on him for like 3 or 4 seconds, and Hudlin was like, "Get the fuck off me, man." But then the camera panned away from him, and then all of a sudden it goes back towards Hudlin, who's standing over, like, what the fuck? As the guy went to ground, and the guy was holding onto his face. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got, like, I don't think he got, like, pushed or elbowed. I think it maybe Hudlin just kind of, like, I don't know if he grabbed his neck or something like that. It just went to ground and got a red card for his troubles. I'm only speculating here, but perhaps that might have been what happened. Maybe got a little bit of a grab of the neck, like, "Oh, you twat," or something. You little twat. Yeah, you gotta keep control of your emotions in this day and age. Can't allow that to happen, especially if you're 1-0 up. But a few minutes later, Biller, who I feel like had a decent game overall, had a lapse of defensive lapse. I think he was a little central as the ball was played over the top from the far side. Wasn't in a position to try to jump and win the header because his positioning was a little off, so he had to try to stand the guy up. I think it was Zanzala in the back. No, it was Welsh, the 20-year-old. On that back post who brought it down and then took it to his left and went to ground. I think at first it looked a little soft, but it looked to me like Biller. He tried to, he stuck his foot out, and I think it went studs on the top of the foot. I think he stepped on Lewis's foot. That hurts, honestly, especially if you hit like with the bottom part of the foot right on the toes. I think that's what happened there in that instance when I saw it back on the replay. Enough for a penalty. Zanzala sends Zanev the wrong way, unfortunately. Zanev could have, had he gone the other way, could have saved it. It wasn't the best penalty in the world. It was down to Zanev's left. And it wasn't in the corner, but Zanev went the wrong way. 1-1. And to me, I think 1-1 is a fair result. Like, right after that goal was scored, I was not trying to be salty, but I was saying, yeah, Newport didn't really offer too much. But then in the last 20 minutes or so, I shouldn't say it was all Newport, but they kept possession and they put a couple of decent balls into the box, looked threatening with those aerial exchanges, won a couple of flick-ons from the long throw throughout the game. And Wimbledon just didn't really have much to offer in the last 20 minutes after that goal was scored. Really after the red card, actually. So I think that really kind of deflated their balloon. It's disappointing, honestly. It's disappointing to bottle this. I mean, we're not back to our old Wimbledon ways of like 2019 where we would bottle every lead. But it definitely was a game we could have won. In terms of overall performances, I'd say Hudlin won a couple knockdowns. It wasn't really too influential overall, but I think he played his role, the target man, winning some knockdowns. I think Asao was a little underwhelming. I think his real high point of that game was when Ethan Chislett scored the free kick. He actually did take someone on 1v1 and got around his man, got pulled back and then got brought down inside the box, but that was maybe a dive, but the referee pulled it back for a foul outside the box because he was being held on. Other than that, couldn't really provide too much on those final third exchanges. A lot of the times, Newport would bring another man over to help and have, two men defending Asal. Asal was a little quiet today overall. Chislett also, I felt, aside from the goal, I think also was a tad quiet. I don't know, we just didn't really create too much on the wide areas. And then sometimes when we would try to get Davison on the hold-up, the center back would poke it away, or Davison would have to play it back to one of the center mids as we couldn't lay someone off. And overall, I just don't think we were creative enough on the attacking end. And it showed. I mean, only 2 shots on target from 7 shots. It was what it was. That first half was one of the more boring ones I've seen, and then the second half a lot more lively. I think we strung together a few good passes. Again, we just couldn't create chances once we were in the final third on the wide areas. I think Newport just got the slight better of us in terms of overall chance creation. Not much to talk about. I'm gonna go down the list a little bit and give some individual ratings. I think Zanev, maybe a 7. Didn't really do much in the game. Didn't really have much to do, should I say. Biller, I think, was an 8. I think aside from that penalty that he gave away, I think he defended pretty solidly. I would have upgraded him to a 9 had he not given away that penalty, though. Kellen Bai, I think, was a 7. I think he did okay, won a couple headers, marauded forward a few times when he got the ball to provide on the attacking end. I think every now and again, though, maybe positioning could be a little bit better. Towler, I'd say 7.5, won a good amount of headers, but Curry, I think a 5.5 to 6. I think he overcommitted a little bit in terms of drawing fouls. I think there was one instance where I think it was Bennett who took a heavy touch and was close to the touch line, and then Curry just came steaming in to try to make a challenge. He had nowhere to go, Bennett, and committed the foul. And then there was another foul he committed where it was kind of closer to the 18-yard box. Got stuck into a challenge there, or dove in, I should say, a little too easily. Chislett was a 6.5, well, 7 for the goal, I'd say. Pell, 6.5. Woodyard was a 7.5. I think he did good defensively, won some headers. Sal was a 6. Davison was a 6.5. Hudlin was a 7. All around, really just 6.5s to 7s across the board on average. Not really much to say, but in terms of who we play next, they are winning 1-0 against Gillingham right now, so not anymore. But Colchester has they don't have the worst goals against result tally in the world, but they have the 3rd least goals for tally. So definitely a winnable game, even if it is away from home, I would imagine. But yeah, it is what it is. We got a couple of good results around the league, though. I mean, we saw Bradford City losing to Carlisle 1-0. Salford and Barrow was a 1-1. Swindon lost to Walsall. Yeah, I mean, whoever dropped points in that one would have favored Wimbledon anyway, because they're both top 7, top 8 in the league. Thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting. And subscribing if you haven't already.